You are in the zone. You are in the zone with Cranky and the Swagman. Disclaimer, the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are purely those of the individuals voicing them and do not represent the values of the sponsors or the platforms on which this podcast is hosted. Well, again, you are in the zone. This is the show dedicated to the hardworking individuals in traffic control and the roadwork industry. Today's episode is all about technology and how it has changed and is changing our industry.
100%. It has advanced quite fast since I first started doing traffic control, and
same.
it's still advancing. It's we've gone from having no protection on the roads to ute and trailer to VMA boards to now it gets put onto a back of a ute to now TMA trucks. So
you should see some of the stuff they're doing in America. Have you seen that shit?
They have what I call Mack trucks.
Yeah.
As their protection. That shit we need here. Because if someone hits the arse end of that thing, number one, that truck ain't moving anyway. What we have here doesn't even compare to what they're using over there. Like, it is like chalk and cheese. It's too separate. It's we've got your little B class sort of flatbed truck with a TMA Scorpion on the back, and they've got this massive Mack truck with a Scorpion, and in the middle of that they've got some sort of barrier weight thing in the middle, and then they've got the Scorpion at the end.
Yeah.
It is nuts.
And in America, the Scorpion and the pod truck are one and the same as well. Yeah. They'll normally have the traffic control. No, that's a lie these days. They don't even have the traffic controller sitting on the back. They've got a fucking machine that does the whole lot. That it loads the witch's hat into this little like chute thing, right?
Yep.
That then gently places it down on the road, and it's amazing. I wish we had that.
The way they do traffic control over there is crazy. Obviously, Sydney should probably be following what they're doing because of the amounts of traffic. Yeah. Like LA and all that obviously got a lot of traffic. And I would say it's probably as busy as what it is like Sydney and LA, or Hollywood as you would call it. I reckon the main CBD would be just as busy as what Sydney would be. I reckon they'd be pretty on par with each other.
I think they're just as busy as each other. Yeah, you're right. But it's just that Sydney is a lot more condensed. Yeah. And it's a smaller population.
So that machine would be absolutely ideal for that situation. That sort of like the risk factor alone that comes out of it, it takes away having the person even putting themselves in harm's way, and you've just got the machine itself filtering.
Yeah.
And because it's pre-programmed and everything's aligned, it's putting the correct spacing, it's doing the correct taper. Everything is programmed. Like for the older generation, like I can see how the older people that are doing TMAs and all that would struggle on that side because it's already hard enough for them with the technology that's coming into play. I can see how it's all, but it's either
a lot of it's computerized and
and a lot of the older generation are like, oh, you don't need this. They're so used to just having a button to push that now they're I've got to swap it. You got to type things into a computer, and not many people are technologically advanced enough to understand it. So they need a lot of training on it. So
it does, and you guys, TMA drivers, can pretty much write your own signs on the fly to display 100%. On that VMS board. Fuck, I absolutely love TMAs. I love seeing them in action. I love just.
It's one of those courses. It costs roughly about $1,500 to do the course. But, and you'll laugh at this, I kid you not, it's to get that Scorpion to move, it's 3 buttons. You've got your PTA button, and then it's literally the button that goes down, and then you push like what they call the ACCC or the ACC, which is like your alternator sort of power switch. So I hold that button, the down button, and then the direction I want. And it literally just... and I just hold those 3 buttons and just watch this thing go down, and then I'm set. I'm all harnessed up already. By the time I'm in the truck, I'm already harnessed up, ready to go. But to program it, I can write anything. I don't have to leave that seat. I just open up the little LED, I guess what you call screen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got a handheld app you can use. It all depends on the advance of the truck itself. So you can literally all do it from your phone. There's an app that you'll download. There'll be a list of instructions with that specific TMA truck. And whether you've got to download an app or whether you've got to log in as an admin or whatever the case is, do that. And you could write anything on that. You could write speed camera ahead and pull over to the side of the road, just warning people of a speed camera if you really wanted to. So there's some funny shit that you come across that people have pre-programmed and we're like, we're not going to display that one today. The public will abuse us if I use that one. We can't use this one. You spend probably about a good 10, 15 minutes deleting people's crappy messages that they've put in there going, yeah, that'll never get used. We definitely can't use that. That one's going to land somebody in jail.
Why has someone put the middle finger in here? You can't use that.
Yeah, there's been that one. Like, you can do digital things that can make it. You can get so advanced with these pictures and the LEDs that it's crazy of what anything you can imagine to put onto an LED board. That's exactly what we can do.
It's do you guys have a company called Traffic Logistics over there?
Traffic Logistics. I am not 100% sure.
They're very big over here in New South Wales, and they have a method of using their TMAs that is extremely effective.
Yeah, right.
So what they do is they put... Just Google it now.
Yeah,
no, but for those who... Google the Traffic Logistics TMAs. So what they do is they put these decals on the sides of the TMAs. They have the TMAs specifically designed so that they actually have walls up the side rather than just being a flatbed. And they put decals of Disney characters on the sides.
Yeah,
so anyone who's traveling with their families, the kids will be like, "Hey, Dad, check it out! There's Iron Man. Slow down! I want to see Iron Man." or like, "Hey, check it out! That's like Elsa. They got like Elsa and Sven from Frozen on one of them, or like the fucking Hulk."
Oh, that's cool.
One of them, I think.
TMAs are actually are they like blue and yellow? Is that your TMAs?
That's the TL logo. That's not all TMAs.
Okay, yeah.
That's just that specific company.
That company looks pretty cool. I'm just on the Traffic Logistics, and their trucks is exactly what we're using over here, the Hinos.
Yes.
So we're using the Hinos at the moment.
They're a popular truck for the...
It did used to be just the smaller truck version, and then TMA sort of banded together saying this is not suitable enough.
Yeah, because it's not. We need
something more, one, comfortable, and two, it needs to be a lot more sturdy. And with it also, when the impact happens, you need to have like a comfort, because if you get hit, you're going to get hit hard. Imagine being in a flatbed, just getting pushed for fucking miles, because there's no weight in a flatbed. These trucks here, when they get hit, like they're designed to take the hit.
And it's like the amount of technology that's just in the truck alone. Like,
wouldn't want to hit the Mack truck.
Not the American one, but even over here, like they have that. All just TMAs have to be.
They've got a Traffic Logistics TMA Mack truck.
Yeah.
And it's like this big, massive truck, then a long fucking flatbed, like long, and then just right at the end, TMA, like the Scorpion. I'm thinking, that's one way of doing it.
But they all have to have that EAB, or
Yeah,
AEB, sorry,
yeah.
automated emergency braking. That's
Yeah,
like
so
that's
that's
like
engaged
ABS on
automatically.
steroids.
It is literally ABS on steroids. And what you get taught in the
Yeah,
class is to don't travel with that on. Like
yeah,
if you forget and you leave it on, sometimes what can happen is it will just jam on. And when it jams on, I mean, your
right.
truck is coming to a fucking screeching halt.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very rare that that happens, but there has been cases where people have forgotten to turn it off, and they're driving along, and all of a
Mm.
sudden the emergency braking system, for whatever reason, has decided to activate itself, and your truck just in the middle of traffic comes to a screeching halt. Um, I've been lucky enough not to be in one when it's happened. I make sure it's off, but there's usually a light globe that sort of flashes
Yeah,
at the top of you saying this button's on, that button's on. Like it's really hard to miss. So
yeah, yeah,
unless you
yeah.
don't have 20/20 vision or you're completely blind, when you
Which you
finish doing your
should not be a
operations,
TMA driver if you're completely blind.
yeah. Well, pretty much anybody can do it. Like if you, yeah, it's
What are you doing up there, Blinken?
yeah, yeah,
Guessing?
yeah.
I guess there's
Guess
no traffic coming.
the technology that's in these machines, and sometimes you get
Yeah.
into these TMAs, and there is so many buttons that you just looking at this going, what are all these buttons
Mm,
down here
mm,
for?
mm,
Like, and
mm.
you've really got to read the manual to really understand what's going. But I kid you not, in front of the driver's seat, it is literally like 8 buttons at the most, and you'll only ever use like 3 of them. And
Yeah,
that's to go up, go off, turn your beacons on and off, and then you're using the computer dashboard that literally sits next to you to change the sign. Or when you're moving, it's the contraflow of traffic that
yeah,
you can literally use the sign to change everything that's going on. Any sudden incidents that comes up, you can quickly get on the little laptop LED screen, quickly type something in, and all
yeah,
of a sudden
yeah,
your traffic that's now doing 80 is now dropped to like 40, or they're coming to a complete halt because they can see what you're trying to tell them to do.
yeah,
Because
exactly.
as you're moving, you've got that flashing, and people are actually starting to read what's being flashed, and they slow back off. And all of a sudden, you can block off traffic that way.
Yeah, on
And
the
people don't want to hit it. That's the other thing. People don't want to hit the Scorpion because it'll cost them thousands of dollars themselves
it's like, what is it,
to replace.
$30,000 to replace one of them?
So I wish. So those Scorpions can range anywhere from about $60,000 all the way up to $150,000.
I did
It
not know
really,
that.
they are very, very, very expensive.
Mm,
It depends on the size. It depends on the size of the truck it's going on. And that alone is just the Scorpion. That's not talking about the damage that when that gets hit, the impact of that TMA gets hit, the damage that it does to the truck as well. So it really,
and
really depends on how hard it gets hit. The size of it depends on pricing. They're generally all the same size, but bigger trucks, bigger Scorpion, smaller trucks, smaller Scorpion. It's got to be fit to ratio of the size of the truck.
and
So
and something that should be of note is that because of how expensive those things are, your insurance company, if you hit one of those things, your insurance company can very easily go, you know what you can go and do? You can go and get fucked because we're not paying that much.
yeah,
You can pay that out of pocket.
I can definitely tell you that your insurance company definitely won't like you
Mm-hmm.
if you hit one of those, because your premiums will go through the roof. Some of
Guess
them will
whose
pay it.
premium is going to be $10,000 next year?
Yeah, yeah, it's not going to be good if you hit one of those trucks, because hitting a car, they can go, oh yeah, $50,000 car,
Yeah.
$20,000 car. Not only did you just damage the Scorpion, you've damaged the truck. That truck is worth upwards of $350,000, and some of the other trucks are worth close to $1 million.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your premiums to have that replaced, yeah, good luck getting reapplied when it comes to your renewal of your insurance.
Now, there's a particular creek that some folks like to travel up without a paddle, and you're on that creek right now.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I'm just having a look at 4 traffic attenuator trucks for sale in Australia, just for the Scorpions alone.
Yeah.
There's someone selling a Scorpion here for $225,000.
Yo, that's just the tail.
And that is just the tail. You
I
would like
remember
to think
once.
that was a whole truck.
I think so, but no.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so expensive. I think they're in Dreamland.
It's probably because they've got the whole computer system attached to it as well.
It's quite
imagine
possible
that's not
there's
cheap.
something else that's in with that. I'm just literally having a look at what people would pay. Scorpion attenuator for sale, like even a whole truck, 75,000. That's just for a small little truck. But one attenuator, there's one here for sale for 75,000.
Yeah.
And that's just the attenuator Scorpion itself. Now, they call it the Scorpion because what happens is it comes down in threes. So you've got some of them are in 2 sections. So you've obviously got it in that, and then it drops down one, and then it drops out again. So it's like a double. And you've got this big beeping sound going off in the truck. And the only way you know that one is down is you feel the first bounce, and then you feel the second bounce. Once you feel the second bounce, that's the second Scorpion hitting the actual main road. But then the alarm also stops and it goes to a green light saying that it's engaged.
Yeah.
And when then that way you know
it gets its name from when it's up. It looks like a scorpion tail curled over.
Exactly right.
But some of them even have a cool fucking little scorpion decal stenciled across the back of them.
They do.
I love that.
It is pretty cool. And they've got all the flashing lights and the cameras and all that. And that's why they're so expensive, because the tech that goes onto it, you think that truck operator can't see you. He can. He can see exactly what's coming up behind him, because we've got a computer screen. On that computer screen, some trucks will vary to how many cameras are usually active. The ones that I was in were usually about 8 different camera angles. We could also activate sound, so we could actually hear. So if there's someone abusing us from behind the Scorpion, we don't even have to leave the truck. We just activate the sound. We can hear what's going on.
Yeah.
But 8 different camera angles. We can see the traffic that's coming from behind us, coming up to us from the side. It just varies on truck and where they've got the cameras. But then you've got the LEDs that are on the back end of that as well. And then just obviously the replacement cost and time. And it's a big job.
So I'll tell you one of my favorite stories to do with TMAs, and then we'll move on to the next segment. This was one of the old cheese board TMAs, right?
Cheese board.
You remember the cheese boards? The one that was just a solid piece of metal that would drop down. Right? So I wasn't working this particular day, right? This was just a job site that I happened to be driving through, and the TMA was in front of us. Right, there was me. There was this little white Hilux right up the TMA's ass. Now, TMAs have a stencil across the back that say "Unit may lower at any time." There's a reason for that. Okay, as this Hilux driver found out the hard way, because as we were driving through the site, the TMA, what happened? Dropped the cheese board, right? Down comes the cheese board. Mate, I will tell you what, there was fucking white smoke coming from this Hilux's brakes the second he realized what was going on.
Well, that's why there's a sign there. And if the lights are flashing on the back end of the TMA, it's not because he's forgotten that they're on. It's because that he plans on bringing the TMA at some point. That's going to come down, and that's because they're usually approaching the site. Now, when you're heading to site, you'll usually have it on because you're going to drop it at some point along the way and then slow the traffic up. And if a smart TMA operator will leave them off until they're closer to site and then flick them on. And hopefully he hasn't just left them on during his pre-start. But yeah, as you're approaching site,
that's what I realized. I tend to keep a good distance behind the vehicle in front of me anyway. So I'm hanging back. I noticed the lights go on the TMA, and I'm like, oh, this cunt's about to get fucked. Okay. down comes the tail, and I'm like, yeah, there you go. keep your distance, mate. That's what you get for tailgating.
Yeah, there's so many people that will ride the arse of the TMA, and then they'll honk their horns to say move. And if that TMA's got to be in that particular spot, they're going to come to a complete stop until you work out that, hey, you need to go around.
Yep.
A lot of what happens is they see the TMA, and we might be in a slow crawl. They'll come around the TMA and then try and jump in front, but then they realise there is a ute literally 100 yards in front. It's like, oh fuck, I've got to jump out again. So
that's
you get the old
thing.
jump in sort of people, and you're like, why would you do that? You've just overtaken a TMA. Clearly, he's doing something to protect. But that's where the understanding people don't have what that truck's there for. It's an extra layer of protection to what is happening.
Yeah, and that should be your forewarning that some shit's in front of you. Like, seriously, look around you, okay? Use your context clues, okay? There are signs, there are water barriers, there are concrete barriers up. You are on a roadworks site. It's a well-established project that these trucks get used on, okay? Obviously, it's there for a reason. Don't screw around with it.
Yeah, don't jump in front. It's not there for you to overtake the teammate and jump in front, because the times that has happened, it's very, very close to them hitting the arse end of the traffic control that's in front.
Yes.
Now, obviously, we're a fair distance back, but we leave enough distance so then if some dickhead does jump in front, if they're smart enough to then quickly jump out. So there's been a fair few changes in the sort of ruling of distance between ute and TMA, and that's to compensate for the lovely drivers we have here in Australia who really don't understand what we are there for and what they should and should not be doing. We've had police come out on site and they will literally park in front of us with their flashing lights and sometimes behind us with flashing lights to try and slow people up. And they will literally do speed control, because before my TMA, we have a pre-warning you telling people slow down to 60. You're coming into a speed zone. There'll be another ute then in front of that one, a few meters up, saying slow down to 40. You're about to come in. Then you've got the truck of 40. Now, if you're still doing 100 by that point, you're getting a ticket. Because at that point, you're a dickhead. You've gone through one warning saying slow to 60, then another one saying slow to 40, and then you've hit the truck at 40. By then, we've got the lovely highway patrol just sitting in front of that TMA operator waiting for you to come flying past at 100 still.
Yes, because...
And I've watched them use a whole ticket book in a space of half an hour.
Believe it or not, that reduced speed limit is a real speed limit.
Yes,
it's not enforced. A joke. It's not just us being like, oh, you can do 40 because we fucking feel like trolling you. No, that's an actual speed limit. And if you get done doing 100 kilometers an hour in what's now an 80 or 60 zone, that's your license gone.
Gone within seconds, and the amount of tow trucks within, I'd like to say half hour, 45 minutes, the amount of tow trucks that constantly got called to our site. The highway patrol officer said, look, thanks for calling us, but we have to go because we could sit here all day doing this. We've been here for an hour. And he literally just opened up his ticket book and he just flicked it. And he says, I used a whole ticket book. They impounded about, I'd like to say 9 to 12 cars.
Yeah, that's it. Because
in that period of time, because no one was listening, and they had so many pre-warnings. Like, they actually came in, you could see the cones prior. There was pre-warning signs. There was a trailer that was set up a few hundred meters down the road saying you're coming into a traffic zone, speed limit change. Then you had 2 utes. Then you had a TMA. By that point, if you haven't clicked on, that's it. And that's what's so good about the tech advancement. Before, you used to have signs on the road to slow people out. You had to have like 100 fucking signs at both ends of the road to become enforceable. Now you just need a couple of VMAs, and that now becomes enforceable. So you don't always need the double ends on each side of the road to say, slow down.
I'll clarify. VMA, for the untrained ear, stands for variable messaging. It's not VMA. It's what is it? VMS board. Yeah, VMS.
Yeah.
Variable messaging service.
That's the one.
So that's that means you can change whatever message is written on it. You fucked me up, swag man.
we use all sorts of it. So we've got the VMA board, so we call it the variable message attenuator board. So that's why I keep going VMA, and then
that's
in
another great piece
terms,
of technology.
VMS. Yes, yes. So it's if you're on a
TMA board, and the TMA has a VMS board mounted to it.
VMS, it does. So many different names and abbreviations that we use in our little crew, and I forget sometimes that we're talking.
And it's all 3 letters too. What's up with the 3 letters? We have TCP, we have TGS, we got TMA, we got
You imagine all of those traffic controllers sitting in a pub just talking in abbreviation, just full sentence and abbreviation. People just looking at us going, the fuck are they talking about? It'd be like a bunch of detective coppers sitting there talking about it, just in their own tech term. What are you on about? But no, it is one of those. The tech advancement that's come in is crazy, and the laws are consistently changing. Again, new laws are coming in July that's going to shake up the whole industry again.
That'll be an interesting thing to talk about. We need to get a lawyer or something like that on here to talk about this.
I've spoken to a couple already.
Yeah.
And the lawyers I've spoken to, they're even in the dark. They go, look, the understanding of this new laws that are coming into play, what counts as administration action now? Like, is it going to be that your boss comes up to you and talks with you? Is that counted as administration action? It's stupid little things that no one knows how to interpret. So there is going to be a test case at some point that's going to interpret these laws.
I want to cut in here quickly and just say that this is exactly the reason why we have this podcast, is because when laws change in our industry, they, for some reason, they seem to change on the sly, and everybody's left in the dark until one day someone fails an audit, and then the company's like, "Nah, you're fired because of some law that no one's ever bloody heard about."
That's it, and usually there's a lot of pre-warning emails. So when you're in a position of, say, work health safety, or you run a business in traffic control, you have to be, your email has to be registered to what we have over here, Main Roads. Main Roads will then issue all these alerts of law changes and all that. And if you're just one of these people, that goes to spam, I don't look at it. Well, you're in the shit when something goes wrong, because you need to be up to date with all of that. They'll even send it out in the mail sometimes if you're linked up on a mailing address with them. And they'll send it out to you saying, hey, law change.
It's one thing for the boss to know about the law change, or in that case, not know about the law change. But at the moment, it's something completely different for the traffic controllers, who are actually the people on the ground,
100%.
to know about that law change. Because a lot of the time, that shit doesn't get filtered down to us.
No. You're meant to have toolbox meetings and all that, but realistically, how many toolbox meetings would you say you've been to in your company?
My company is. I'm not. My company's actually been pretty good with the toolbox meetings. We get them at least once per quarter.
So you want to have them regular. And see, when you're running a business like this, it's so high demand and it's so dangerous. If I had the money and I was running a traffic control company personally, I'd be having it at least once a week. I would try and do it at least once a day, but obviously it's unrealistic. It couldn't happen. It'd be so hard, especially if you've got a crew of 500. How do you run a toolbox every day? So maybe every third day or fourth day, have a toolbox meeting, like just to have that regular update of information.
If only a couple of dudes got together and released a podcast called The Traffic Controllers Toolbox.
I know, right? I wonder
they should.
This is like, it is liquid gold.
It's a great idea.
Traffic control companies should be hiring us to filter their name on our podcast to then get this information out. Why are we doing it for free? Oh, that's right.
I don't know.
It doesn't happen.
Exactly, yes. So,
a lot of things have got to change. It's going to happen, and it's only going to take another 10 more people to die before laws drastically change.
We've been through our 10 people. How many more? How many more?
That's it. It's like you're just a number, and I feel like that's what traffic control companies do. You're just a number. Somebody else will take your spot next week if we really wanted to. It's like you're so easily replaced, but until traffic controllers sort of stand up and say enough's enough, without being fear of losing their job for doing so, then nothing's going to change. But there is obviously changes in the law now. Even as a casual, if you're sacked unfairly for standing up for your rights in the way of safety, or say there's an actual authorized strike that's going on, that obviously it's how you have these truckies going on strike, nurses going on strike, and then they try to sack you over that or penalize you for that, just remember there is a thing called adverse action. And whether you're casual or full-time, part-time, the same law applies. And there's so many cases where prior to these law changes, if you were casual, you had no rights. You weren't protected. You couldn't make any cases against the employer because you're casual. They can get rid of you for any or multiple reasons.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
When issues happen at work, if you're not affected or the boss hasn't sacked you or anything, but they've pulled you in for a meeting saying, oh, look, we just need to have a chat about what's happening. Go back and record everything that was said in that meeting. Record every incident that has happened, or, while you're at work, if something happens at work and you're not happy with the manager that's on or the team leader that's on, record it. Write something down in a notepad and record the incident, the time, date, who was involved, where the duck was standing in the middle of the road, where was the bird chirping in the tree. Every small detail will help your case later on if something becomes bigger.
It comes down to, again, the 11th commandment, which I'm sure you know off by heart, Mr. Swagman.
I shall get drunk after work.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, cover thy ass.
Oh, that one. Yes, yeah, of course. Thy don't give no shits. Oh, yes, that one. that 11th. Yes, you've got to cover your ass. It is the only way that you are going to get through any of cases at all, or any chance of proving, especially if you're casual. It makes it so hard without proof. And the first thing your lawyers are going to ask you is, okay, we're going to need a statement of facts of what happened, what date, time, who was there, names, dates, the whole kit caboodle. So just have a diary, note things down, try and remember. If you can't think of something on the spot, you don't have pen and paper, there's a thing on your phone called voice note. You hit the record button and you can record a voice note. Yeah.
I know a bloke who's got an actual little black book that he keeps in his breast pocket with a little pencil. And every time I fuck up, he writes something down in it. But anyway.
Yeah. You ever watch that movie Hot Fuzz?
Yes.
Where the copper, the English copper sits there and he's writing down everything, every word, every syllable. That's exactly what a lawyer loves.
Stop writing. Stop writing.
Stop.
All right, what do you say we take a break and we hit it hard on the head when we come back, Mr. Swagman?
Sounds good. I'm going to get myself a drink.
That sounds good to me.
On a break, but for some reason, I don't think he's noticed. He's forgotten to loop the music. So we are currently still live, and let's see how long it takes him to realize that we're live. And while I watch him on the camera, Mr. Cranky has forgotten to loop the music.
Music is finished.
Yes, he has forgotten to loop it.
That's all right. We can always take that out.
We're going to have to edit that one.
Yeah, that's fine. Hang on a minute. Mark clip. All right.
Got to loop the music.
We'll get back to it. One of the benefits of having grown up in and frequently visiting a different country is the fact that I get to see how they do traffic control over there. And one of the ways that actually pretty much the only way that they do it is what we over here in Australia would classify as the old-fashioned way. Which is
basically wearing nothing at all, using the hand signals.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. That direction, that direction.
The hand direction. Signals and the flags as well. Do you remember the flags?
The flags. Oh my god.
The little stop and go flags that they used to use. Yeah, they still use them over in South Africa.
Wow. Wow.
And again, that comes back to the advancement of technology, which only something like 30 years ago we were using flags, and we swapped over to what we now use and know as the stop and slow bat.
Yeah, and they've even advanced that into a standalone operated traffic signal. I'm not sure what they call it, but it is a traffic light system on a trailer, and all it takes is one operator to literally sit there all day in his deck chair. Red light, yellow light, green light, yellow light.
Bloody hell, not even that these days. They just program them and then they
some of them are programmed, yeah. Like, it is crazy of how that even works. Like, can you imagine going into work and say, today you're operating the lighting system, and you're like, no, I have to sit down all day.
Oh damn.
No, I'm going to get paid for 8 hours to sit there. You sure you only want me there for 8 hours? I can do a 12-hour shift today. Like, by all means, I've got my deck chair with the umbrella. I'm okay, so don't worry about fatigue.
And then the light system fucks out, and whose problem is it to fix it but his?
Yeah, so don't get caught out if your boss is a cheapskate and doesn't have an operating system that's well maintained, which happens a lot. Because when things break in traffic control, 9 times out of 10, the traffic control company is already working at a budget limit low that they're duct taping the problems that are happening. So, Bold Tire now has the spare tire on there. They've just replaced it with the spare. So when that ute effectively fucks up again, there is no spare.
There's no spare.
So,
a couple of months ago, I was working with porta booms. Good old porta booms.
Porta booms. Jeez, I don't even think they use those still.
Yeah, we still use them. One of the ones we got sent out because we hire from a certain company.
Yeah.
One of the ones we got sent out was sent out with a flat battery.
Oh, I'm not joking.
Not only that, but the solar panel that it was supposed to use to charge wasn't working either.
Just got to hook up the old battery charger and be like, hey, start this bitch.
Exactly. This is where ingenuity comes into it. We had to figure out how to make some sort of plug to work from the Utes trailer plug to this fucking boom.
Wow.
to make that shit work.
I'd be calling up the company and be like, hey, you better travel out here another hour with another one because this one's fucked.
Oh, yeah, we did because we had another 2 days left on that project.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. I can't believe that. They go, oh, yeah, it's tested. And that's what I mean about all this tech they bring in.
Yeah.
Tech fails so much. What do you do when it fails? Like, you're back to the old way of doing it. So just maintain your shit because, well, it brings a bad name to your company when that shit breaks on site. And chances are you're never going to get used again if it's failing.
Yes, exactly. If you're a hire company and your technology's decided it's going to shit itself, we're just plain and simple not going to go with you again.
Easy facts. And don't send greenies into the field. Especially if it's just as simple as a pull lift. And if it's a project that's needing all this tech on it and they're 3 days out of training and you go, let's put them in the field, they're fine, just wing it. They're not taught anything in 3 days, you numpty. In 3 days, they've learned the bare minimum on how to do traffic. That doesn't mean throw them on a project by themselves. Because if you're a company doing that, you're a dickhead, you're up for lawsuits, and you're going to jail at some point because you're going to kill someone. And it's a matter of time. It won't happen. It will happen.
Yeah.
It will. And you'll be up for industrial manslaughter. So I'm not going to mention a company that it has been known to do this because
not even going to cough it into your sleeve.
Yeah, won't even. Won't even bring the name up. But I've made it very well known online not to use this company.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people agree as to the reasoning why. They've probably lost a lot of clients because of it, because I've not only let everybody know about it, the people that I was directly involved, I've let them know what was going on.
Yeah.
So I'm fuming at the situations I was put in, the stress that I was put under. If you're sending greenies into the field just with 3 days training and just saying, wing it, you deserve to go to jail. And there is no work health safety advisor or manager out there that is going to come out there and cover your ass just because you want to break the law.
Yeah. A lot of companies might think that, and they treat us like this, like we're a bit of a joke. We're just someone that gets hired off the backhand, basically.
100%.
And it's like, traffic control is an afterthought. It's like, no. You actually need to think about the fact that if you're going to be sending greenies out, you need at least one experienced TC out there who can read a fucking traffic control plan.
100%. So, for instance, what would you do? Simple pool lift. That's a swimming pool getting lifted into a backyard.
Quite literally,
That's as simple as the job is. Who would your company send out to do that job? Would they throw 2 greenies together? Oh, this one's been in the job 3 weeks. This one's been in the job 3 days.
No.
What's the sort of limit that your company goes, no, regardless of what job it is, this is how much experience that person's got to have to be on that job?
Hell no. My particular company, like I've said, I've sung their praises many times before. They're actually quite good. So they would send me, someone with 10 years experience, out with this new person to show them the ropes on a simple job like that, and just go, right, this one's an easy job. Here's something you can learn from. What we're going to do is implement, and I will actually, if I know this is a new person to the industry, I'll pull out the actual TGS generics book, because for those who don't know, traffic controllers do have a large amount of generic traffic guidance schemes that we can go to if there's no official traffic control plan in place. So in that sort of case, if it's just a normal back street, normal suburban street, I would show them what we call TGS number 83 in the T-Course manual, which is the normal traffic guidance scheme you would use for a stop and slow job. So that's your 3 usual suspects on either side. In New South Wales, that's the digger, prepare to stop, flagman, placed at the appropriate distances, and then traffic controller in place, lane closure on either side. Simple as that.
And every good crew leader will have that book on them, or the digital copy at least. If they don't have it, I'd be asking questions as to how they're a crew leader and don't have documentation or a backup plan. If their idea of a backup plan is call the office, I can say 9 times out of 10 that is not effective, because you just get passed around that office until finally you get to the right person, and then they don't see what you see, and they're just going to send something generic that's on the computer and go, here you go, just use this one, and it's not suitable for your site. So then you're picking and choosing what to do, not realising that every job will have a permit, and within that permit here in Western Australia, it should have some form of idea of what roads you're going to be blocking off, detours, all that sort of thing. Usually 9 times out of 10, it's either side of the street, and then a bunch of detour signs saying local traffic only, go this direction to get out onto the main road. And that is as simple as it can be. But that's not the excuse of that easy job, sending greenies out into the field and then going, well, where does it say in the legislation that I can't do that? Because I'll tell you where it says it. It's called duty of care.
Duty of care, exactly. And you need someone out there who will care for them.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where the law protects that employee. And same with the psychosocial that most people don't know.
You send greenies out there. By all means, send greenies out, right? But don't send a whole team of greenies out. Because who are they going to learn from? They need to learn from someone who's been in the job for X number of years.
Yeah, 100%. And the way that the industry is going now, they're starting to look at, well, if you've been with the company 3, 4, 5 months, they're saying he's mid-range to high knowledge, send him out. And he's only been in that industry for, 3, 4, 5 months. It's one of those jobs where, I wouldn't be sending anybody out with a greenie unless they've had at least 12 months worth of experience.
Yeah.
Because if something goes wrong, and heaven forbid something does go wrong, the first thing that judge is going to ask you is, what's your experience? Have you ever trained anyone before? Have you ever been in a situation where you've had to show how to do any form of training? Do you have the qualifications in a training form? And if you can't answer those questions the way the judge wants to hear them, that company's going under, and that operations manager is going to jail.
Yeah.
It's not the traffic controller's problem. They've raised the situation. Hey, I don't feel comfortable in this situation. You sending greenies out. I'm not effectively trained to train that person. I'm trained enough to understand how to do the job, but I do not want to be responsible for a greenie because I'm not a crew leader. I'm just another traffic controller.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and if something goes wrong and they've appointed you as the on-site supervisor for the day, or you're taking control of the site for the day, remember that you're now in control of everybody on that site. You're in control of everything that goes on, everything that goes good, everything that goes bad. When it goes bad, you're up shit creek without a paddle. Because
there's that particular creek again.
Yeah, there is that creek. You gotta love that creek. And I've seen it happen time and time again. Time and time again, companies have closed down and they rebrand themselves and come back as a whole new company because they were closed down by the administrator saying you can't traffic control, you've breached X, Y, Z, you're no longer suitable for the industry. And they rebrand themselves and they come back and you go through the process again. Don't get caught out. Don't be the one standing in court. Just simply do the right thing.
Exactly. Well, anyway, we'll go back onto the topic of the technology. When I first started, right? Sure, it wasn't exactly the 80s. I started along, only 10. How many years? 11 years ago now.
11, 12 years. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it'd be I started when I was 18 and I'm 34 now.
Yeah. It's about the same. No. I think I was 24 or 25 when I first started traffic. One of the biggest changes I've noticed is that most of these companies are going for apps now.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the Field Worker app, for example.
Yeah, Field Work app or the Work app. I've got one that's called Work Safe app or Work app, something like that.
Yeah.
It brings all the jobs through.
So what they used to do was they'd either call you or they would text you with your allocation and the job address and who you're working with and all that other bullshit. And you'd go out to site and you'd do the paperwork manually, actual paperwork. You had to have a pen in the ute, for goodness sake, and a docket book.
Yeah.
Along with your actual physical Take 5 or start card.
Yeah, I used to remember all that. It's the same thing on the mines, having the Take 5. You have to do 5 a day.
And then you'd go to site and you'd get started. Basically, these days it's your company will have their own specific app.
Yeah,
not always, but they mostly do. The good ones do.
And what they got on there is pretty much the same as what you'd see in a Take 5.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's literally saying, is this been done? Have you signed on to this permit? Have you
Mm-hmm.
done X, Y, Z? It's teaching those people how to use that technology. That's the fun part. Because you imagine the 60, 70-year-old bloke that doesn't use tech, and you're like, right, sir, I now have to teach you how to do this. And they can't get the basic understanding. Then you tell them that they have to do this for every site, and like the fear.
Oh, I had a mate who worked for my current company for a while who just couldn't wrap his head around the technology. Because even our roads and maritime service over here uses an app, don't they?
Yeah.
So when you want to call on a road occupancy license or anything like that, you've got to use the app.
Yeah. Because that goes straight through to the operator, then the operator sends it off to the truck who receives that message on an app, he then dispatches to the job and gets you to sign his document, which is also on an app at the site. Everything is so electronic now, and it's meant to be for the environment. And I'm doing the air quotations because, if it was so important, then why haven't we stopped it across all boards? Why is it everything should be electronic now? Why do we even need paper form? Like it's it's teaching people how to use it. It's the hard part. I reckon there needs to be more training around it. It's well as good at having a 3-day course, but I reckon that 3-day course needs to blow out to a week. There needs to be traffic controllers coming into the industry now, and the way it's so advanced. And the dangers. It's not what it used to be back in the 90s and the 2000s where a 3-day course you'd be fine. There's more traffic, more dangers, there's more other roadworks going around your site. So you might be on a site that's you're doing your thing with your road workers, but then there's other road workers doing their thing on their side of things as well. So it's like all of you having to do a job together. I reckon a course needs to last a week for any new traffic controllers now. 3 days is just not enough time to get the knowledge in there, get them understanding about the job, and try and maybe teach them a bit about how advanced it's become, because a lot of things are not paper form anymore and everything is tech advanced.
And it is. It's become very advanced. It's not just about even like things as simple as the stop and slow bat itself. Used to just be a lollipop, basically, that had red paint on one side and yellow paint on the other side.
Exactly.
Even 100%. That's changed. The technology for that is totally different now. It all has to be that honeycomb stuff, so that it's going to be properly reflective during the day and the night.
The old reflective. Everything has to be reflective. And even though I've seen stop slow bats that are electronic, so sometimes they're like on some form of three-legged arch sort of tripod, and one side like is on a metal stick, and it says stop slow, and it's just the operator hitting stop slow on a controller. So, and sometimes they're that advanced that they've got a camera on the site, and they're literally controlling the traffic, looking at the traffic from an office nowhere near the site, and there's just a person hitting stop slow, and talking to the operator on site through dispatch in their office. It's mind-boggling how advanced it is becoming, and it's some of it's good, some of it's becoming, I'd like to say, lazy, and a lot of it is coming down to cost effective as well. So it's actually pushing people out of the industry rather than bringing them in, because traffic control companies are now just using equipment, and you only need one person to operate an equipment. So they're not effectively using a traffic controller because they've got a machine that's doing it for them.
And you know what I've noticed on the much bigger projects that I've worked on previously has been more use of, like, much higher use of these little guys.
Drones. The little drones. Yes.
Yeah. So instead of going out to do a proper audit with a person there with their notepad and other such
councils
their
love
computer. Yeah.
Councils, and that's the other thing you got to watch out for that companies don't really look for. It comes under the compliance legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Councils will go out there with drones and they will randomly audit your site, and they'll just get a drone up there, take all the bunch of photos, and you won't even know the drone's been there. And
You
then
won't
next
even
minute,
see it.
you
That's
won't. Yeah,
right.
you won't even see it. It's that good of an advanced of a drone. It's already zoomed in, and they can see the nose hairs inside your nose, and this thing will be miles in the bloody air.
I knew I had to trim them.
It was one of those, and I've seen reports where it's happened.
Yeah,
and you just get this random email that says Shire of whichever council it's come from, Shire of Midland, Shire of Perth, and it would literally say, we've done an audit on your site. And all of a sudden you have an email with 300 goddamn photos, and all of a sudden now you're under audit, and they're saying, where's your last site audit from here? When did you last check these cones? When did you last check this? When did you last go out there and see that your signs and this has been fallen down? You're like, when did these guys go out there? So you handball it. I got to handball it and go, hey, this is your problem, guys. This ain't my problem.
Yeah, and the problem is they didn't go out there at all. They just
they didn't.
Flew a drone over your job site and took some photos like that.
The accountability that comes into it. So it's all well and good having drones and technology in your company, but you've got to go out there and maintain it, make sure it's actually working, and have documentation that you've regularly gone out there and checked. And they're not just checking for compliance, but they will also check your maintenance records of your vehicles.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that's gone electronic is maintenance records. We've got an app with the last company I used. If you've got a maintenance request, it goes through the app.
Yeah.
Oh, the fluids were low. So then they get that message, then goes off to the maintenance section of the company. They go, okay, we'll check that on this date. Or if it's urgent, they'll get onto it almost straight away. 9 times out of 10, they're not. That's just, let's get the roll of duct tape out and see which one sticks.
Nah, my company's
Monkey group.
My company's pretty good with that. Again, they actually have their own in-house mechanic. Who is hired
Yardy,
from,
as they call it over here.
No, he's a qualified mechanic. That's all he does at the yard.
Oh wow, that's even good. I need to come work in Sydney.
That's only my company, by the way. Other companies, you'll call in and be like, "Hey, my ute's up for its 10,000K service," and they'll be like,
"We'll get to it next month."
Well,
and the month
what do you
after.
want us to do about it?
Yeah, you get in the car and you look at the maintenance record of its last service, and you're like, "This thing's like 6-7 months overdue. What's going on?"
Mate, 6-7 months. You're lucky. 6-7 years, more like with some of them.
Oh, you can tell. You can definitely tell a traffic control company that looks after their utes and their tech in that ute, because a lot of these utes will have the VMS boards on the actual utes, so they want to make sure, because not only did that that ute has cost them $40,000 just as stock. They've then put the beacons on there, which is another probably $2,000, $2,500 to install. They've then added all the equipment on top of it. The VMS board's probably another $20,000.
Yeah.
And then you've got the programming and all that sort of stuff that's got to go into it, the apps, the install. Like, there's a lot involved with it. Imagine having over 100 cars and half of your fleet have got these VMS boards, but half your fleet have also got problems if you haven't maintained it. So as a traffic controller, it is your responsibility to make sure you are always recording the issues, because at some point you're going to get that vehicle and go, oh, they still haven't fixed it. Well, when did you last report the problem? Like, you knew the problem was there. Did you report it? It's been 6 months. Well, then that again, you want to work for a good traffic control company. You can tell the way a company works by the way they maintain their vehicles.
Exactly. So my company has requested for my my pre-start vehicle check that if I get any problems, I only report it once. Because what happens, right?
Multiple.
Exactly. And these guys, for every record, they get an email every single day per report you put through. And the only way that they can stop that is by actually fixing the problem. So they've gone, you know what? No, please only report it once, because we get inundated with emails. We're getting like 16 emails a day now.
At that point, that's where I say, well, then you've got 16 problems that you need to fix, because quite clearly it's a problem out there. And what a lot of the office staff don't realise is you're not in the field using it. We are in the field needing to use it and can't, because you're too lazy to pay the money to fix the problem.
No, that's not the case.
Fix the problem.
That's not the case with my company. Mine's more just, I'm too busy to actually take the ute into the yard to get it fixed.
I love it.
But they have this problem where it's like 16 days of me reporting this thing has resulted in them now getting 16 emails a day about the problem.
No. So when did you last take your ute in to get that problem fixed?
Well, I've been trying for the last several weeks.
Your mechanic's like, I'm busy. I can't do it at the moment. No, I'm inundated.
It's not the mechanic that's busy. It's me that's inundated.
Well,
I can't
you've
get
been
the
out
ute
on
there.
Emergency calls. You have an actual excuse, though. Yours isn't just, oh, I'm lazy, I can't be fucked doing anything. Yours is quite literally, they're calling you from one job to the next job to an emergency call out. You have an itemised, legitimate excuse. And as long as that problem's not impeding your job in such, it is, you just fight on. At least it's recorded, at least, so they know the problem's
that's
there.
That's the point, yeah.
It's like the mechanic come out to your place. Swap the utes over till this one gets fixed. Oh, look, this ute's great. We're swapping you out. Here's another one.
Boy.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
So who have we got today? Who have we got for sponsors today? We've got a new one, don't we?
So we do have a new one.
And if people have been listening in this week, they'll know exactly who I'm talking about. If
they're still listening at this point, because we've rambled a bit today.
That we have. We've gone into a bit of everything.
We certainly have. Although for AI's sake, when it comes to writing the show notes, this podcast is supposed to be about the technology and traffic control.
Yeah, keeping on that guidance, shout out to ChatGPT and the advancement. We obviously come up with our ideas, we come up with our own script, but then when we want to time everything, so in radio, a lot of people have times for when they're going to do certain things.
Yes,
and this is exactly what ChatGPT does. It will segment every single thing and even put a time slot on how long we should talk about that specific issue based on the information it already knows.
Yep. Like it says here, so good. Modern innovations, 45 minutes to 58 minutes. That's not a guess. That's 3 minutes worth. That's 13 minutes worth of talking.
How do you fit 13 minutes of such an important topic into that little segment? It's so hard because there's so many different variations of tech that have come in.
Exactly.
iPads are even starting to crawl into the industry. People are like, what are iPads like? It's like iPads to take a photo, iPads to sign on to your permits, iPads to sign every worker that comes onto your site.
I used to work for a company that gave you a company iPad that had to be charged up and used on every shift.
Wow, that's insane. That is insane. So you literally you couldn't do it the old way at all. You had to just use that only.
Had to be used like that. And if they happened to send you out to a place that had spotty reception or something like that, it was just too bad. The docket will get uploaded when you get back into town, basically.
And that would be it. And shout out to everyone that's listening right now. We have opened the lines to have audience members, and we have quite a few in here today. So shout out to them. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you've enjoyed our rambling today.
Yeah, it looks like we got 3 people listening in, so that's fantastic. Thank you very much for that.
Got 3, love it. Hey, that's not bad out of 240.
Not bad at all, considering this is our 6th episode for our entire podcast.
Yeah, that's it. So it's one of those. It's something new that's come out for us. So I love it. I love the fact that we've got a platform and that we've got this platform to be able to talk about all these issues that people are interested in.
Well, let's now talk about the people that are keeping us going.
Yes.
Yeah.
So big shout out this week. Myself and Cranky got to go onto Curtin FM radio.
We did. That was fucking cool, man.
That is our local station, one of many local stations here in Perth. I simply sent out an email, told them what we're doing, and they've reached almost instantly out to us saying, we'd like to have you on the show in 2 days' time. And I was just like, wow. You can hear what we were talking about on that station. It is posted on our In the Zone Facebook page. So head over to there to have a listen to it. But shout out to Jamie McCanty from Curtin FM Radio. Loved being out there, and we loved being on your show to be able to highlight all the issues that we had and have in the traffic control industry. It's great to have such a platform, and hopefully more radio stations will reach out where we can talk about these issues, because
we're always open to it.
We are open, and even on that, we've been invited to America.
America.
Don't know how we managed to do that. Don't know how they managed to hear about our show, but they reached out to us and they're like, "Hey guys, we're in America. We want to have you out on our podcast on a radio station."
And that podcast is called what, Swagman?
Three-Wheeled Bicycle. Gotta love it. It is two guys who are absolutely insanely funny, and they just talk about everything. Instead of just sitting in a garage or in a studio, and just rambling on about a certain topic, they're just like, "Hey man, this is what I've done this week." Like. And people have tuned into it. They have 7,000 followers.
The host of that is Stevie Vanderheiden, who's actually a fucking hilarious bloke.
He is funny. And we are super excited to announce that we will be on their show. We are just ironing out details of when they'd like to hook up and do that, given that there is 2 different time zones. But these guys are absolutely awesome. We are now hooked on their show. So we've got our own show and we think ours is good. Theirs is great. Head over to Three-Wheeled Bicycle and
even though
suss them out.
The first episode of theirs I listened to for maybe the first 20 minutes, I was going, well, what is this shit? But I'll give these guys a go.
Yeah.
And after that, I thought, this is going to be one of my regular podcasts.
Yeah, I've got it set on my favourites. It's on my favourites. It takes a while to understand because there's obviously a different humour side. Like you've got the American humour, and then you're trying to sort of understand their lingo of it. But relatively, they talk about married life and certain situations, and it's the exact same problems that we have over here in Australia, and it's so unique to have that happen. I love it. All their different programs they've got.
Absolutely.
Head over to them. Watch Three-Wheeled Bicycle.
Let's go into our other sponsors, Swagman. Who have you got over there?
I have here, and as you can see now, I have paperwork that's for our sponsors. We have Swag Headquarters. Swag Headquarters talk about someone with a goal. If you've got a passion or you're an entrepreneur, or if you just want health advice in terms of, how to better your energy, just getting up in the morning. These guys cover everything, not just business, but it's a mindset. Someone with a goal. You've got a passion for something, you want to change something, head over to Swag HQ. They're running multiple competitions at the moment. They're also doing giveaways as well. And soon enough, there will be money giveaways. But at this stage, it is Swag Hoodie.
Everybody needs money.
Everyone needs that money. Money. Give me that money. But Swag is all about selling with a goal. They're not just another business, they are family. So when you join the Swag team or you subscribe to Swag, so it's free on Facebook, but when you subscribe to the actual channel, I believe it's like $45 or $47 a month, you become family. Family does not get left behind. They send out a Swag daily newsletter. You could subscribe to that for free, and you'll get to learn about everything on business, making sponsors.
And if you are a startup entrepreneur, it's a bloody useful newsletter to be subscribed to. Sorry, go on, Swagman.
Yes. So yeah, if you're an entrepreneur, and as Cranker was saying, that you're just getting started on something and you want the information on how to joint ventures with other businesses, it talks about cold calls and emailing and just doing the right steps. So obviously Swag has learnt the wrong way of doing it, and they've learnt from those lessons, and they've better improved everything. They've hooked up with millionaires and got their information from millionaires. So they're regularly doing small business interviews. Hey, tell us how you got here. We want to let everybody know. That is Swag HQ, Swag headquarters. So if you're an entrepreneur, head over to their Facebook page.
But it's not only about the successes. It's a good thing to hook up to if you want to know that you're not the only person that's also going through the struggles of starting up a new business.
Exactly right. So whether you're old or whether you're new to business, Swag is there to help you along the way. Join Swag. You don't have to be a paid subscriber to talk to someone. There is the team is there to just help, guide, and talk to you. And they will talk to you as if I'm sitting here talking with Cranky now. You are not just another number. You are a human. Yeah. You become part of the family. And thank you to everybody that has subscribed to it. I did hear from him the other day, the Swag CEO himself, Quinton Tofola. And he said he's now got over 101 people who have subscribed to that. And he just wanted to shout out to everyone. Hey, just want to shout out to everyone. Thank you for following Swag HQ. Massive support and thank you. We are going to be giving away a combo hoodie set, whether that's short sleeve or long sleeve, for those who have subscribed to the first 100 people.
Winter's coming up, fellas. Get that hoodie.
Winter is coming up. Get the hoodie. You can have it in long sleeve or short sleeve. Swag HQ. And there is also a link to their website on the Swag HQ, Swag Headquarters Facebook page. And I believe you also have another sponsor there.
I have one, yeah. I'm going to put in a quick shout out to my friend Dizzylicious, who does the best cupcakes on earth, right?
When I come to Sydney, I'm coming there.
Yeah, absolutely. I am going to hit her up for some cakes if you come over to Sydney, or even if I come over to Perth, which might happen pretty soon, and I'll talk to you about that off air.
Yes.
The other one is On Track Meals.
Yes.
ontrackmeals.com.au/in the zone is the website you want to go to.
And why do we want to go to that website?
Because any good traffic controller has an emergency pack in their car, and any good emergency pack has food, right? Because you never know when you're going to get called out to some bullshit job out in the sticks where there's no shop and there's no dunny, anything like that. Not that they can provide the dunny, but who knows what the future holds.
I reckon they could provide the dunny roll, though, surely.
You never know when what could be a 4-hour job can easily turn into a 16 to 20-hour ordeal.
Yes.
Right? It just takes one strike of the water main, to turn everything to shit.
12-hour shift.
Yeah, exactly. Suddenly, what you were hoping would only be a short job has turned into something that you now need dinner for.
Yes, and when that happens, you're excited and you're sad and the emotions are all there. So to soften that blow of all those emotions, because you're listening to In the Zone, because you've put In the Zone, you get a further 10% off at the checkout. Type In the Zone in capital letters 10, In the Zone 10, to get your 10% discount as well at the checkout.
That is absolutely correct, and you can buy yourself the Go Pack, which will give you, you'll get a couple of muesli bars. You'll get a whole lot of just about anything sugary to keep you going through the day. You'll get muesli bars. They'll send you Skittles. Well. Yep, exactly. Go to the website. Seriously, go to the website and just have a look through it.
On-track meals.
I will not vouch for anything that I haven't previously tried. On-track meals. I am actually excited now when I get an emergency call-out job, because it means that I get to have some of that curry or that mushroom stew or whatever it is. That
it's almost worthwhile going to work that day just because you've got an on-track meal. You're needing to spend the money at the shop. Like, you're almost excited, and everyone's like, "Why is he so happy?" Well, he's got his lunch sorted. I mean, it's not just lunch, and it's the flavour. You would think these would taste like shit because they're in a pack, but they don't. It actually tastes like it's just come off the fucking stove at the shop or the deli or the Chinese store. It actually has flavour to it. It has the kick. They haven't skimped on whatever they've done in the prep of how to do it. They've really studied and really perfected their meal making.
Mm-hmm. There is a reason why we send these exact same ration packs to our soldiers overseas. Yeah. Because they are fantastic.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Absolutely. Shout out to the boys serving. But on that note, I will say that's it from Cranky and the Swag Man. You have been in the zone for the last hour and 20 minutes. Thank you very much for everyone who's made it this far.
Yeah, this is our longest episode yet. We usually only go for an hour. We're 20 minutes over our schedule. Hell, we are the CEOs of this radio station, so
we will do whatever we want.
We will do what we want.
Take it easy.
To you, Channel 9. Thank you very much.
Take care, everyone, and we will see you next week. Stay safe on the roads. Stay safe on the roads, especially. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, take it easy, guys. See ya.